What's up YouTube, Capital G here. Got a pretty long duel for you guys to check out. I believe that this one might be a rage quit, maybe one-sided. You guys will just have to wait and see. In fact, you know what? I'm just gonna roll this. I usually like to explain the duels before I actually start rolling them and do my setup so that you guys can check everything after I'm done talking. But this is going to be like the longest turn one you will ever see. I got my buddy over here, Shatner's Prodigy, who loves playing Fabled. You guys remember the days of us saying that like synchro decks were dead because of Master Rule 4 and all that good stuff? It just took Konami one card. Well, I guess you can say Skull Deed too, because Skull Deed does some amazing things for this deck. Not only does it allow a deck like Fabled, or really a lot of the synchro decks in general, to perfectly optimize their hand, as a lot of these decks run like super gimmicky cards, you know, like what's desynchro and stuff like that. Cards that have like incredibly high ceilings but can be completely dead in a lot of situations. But anyways, yeah, it allows them to fix their hand. It allows them to special summon from their hand, so the cards are never actually dead in their hand. You can kind of always special summon. Just does so much for the synchro mechanic. But then obviously you have Crystron Needle Fiber as well, and it's crazy because we thought that, you know, synchro decks were dead, and you know, all it took was a couple of link monsters, and I mean, look at the stuff that you can do. It's relatively easy, and I've seen him do stuff like this all the time, just using a collection of incredible cards. I like how Fables now run Rescue Cat. People thought Rescue Cat was like not good or anything like that. I said that at the beginning. I was like, dude, Rescue Cat is still like actually ridiculous. If you look at the card on paper, Rescue Cat is still nuts. So let's see. He's dropped one Quasar already. Obviously Hyper Librarian is just, it's still like a ridiculous card. You just keep it on the side of the field. You see that he started with this extra monster zone, and then he just said, nope, I'm gonna start using this one, obviously, so that Hyper Librarian could just sit there chilling. And I believe he's going to win with 0 cards left in his deck. So wait, maybe he ends up losing this duel. I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure what Shatner is doing here. If his intention is to win. Oh, Soul Charge, last card in deck, OP. Yeah, here comes the Soul Charge for the last Quasar. But yeah, I guess Shatner ultimately loses the duel. So maybe that will be, is that clickbait? Is that clickbait? Making 3 Quasars in one turn and still can't win duel. Anyways, thank you guys for watching as always. Hold up, I'm gonna pause the video and show those interested the deck list. So this is what the deck looks like on paper, and interesting enough, the only spell ran at max in this deck is Dark World Dealings. I bet you wouldn't have thought that. Does make a lot of sense though, because you know, a lot of the Fable monsters don't mind being discarded because obviously they will summon themselves and their effects will activate, and it's all kind of Gucci. I talked about how this deck runs a lot of like gimmicky cards, which is kind of par for the course with a lot of the synchro decks. But damn, look how many one-ofs there are in this deck when it comes to spells. Everything from Air Sunrise, Double Summon, even Excessive Burial. I didn't think anyone in the world was playing this. Shout outs to $1 secret rares. I think this card's like $1.50 or something like that. So at least this deck is very budget, or I don't know, because Skull Deed is obviously not out. Same thing with Crystron Needle Fiber, and cool because this deck only runs 2 link monsters. I mean, yeah, they are absolutely pivotal to you winning your game and you being able to get Quasar on the field. I think it's just you need so much space for the synchros. You're going to run the maximum amount of Formula Synchrons, obviously the maximum amount of Quasars, and Fable Reagan is usually a card that lets you draw 3 cards if you have TG Hyper Librarian on the field. I think I'm just happy that Rescue Cat finally found a home, and it's oddly enough in a synchro deck.